final week of the UFL, and we have a special predictions game that we're going to play completely at random. Join us for the scoreboard. Smokey, we are in the final week of the UFL. The playoffs are set, but we get a preview of both conference championships this week. How are you doing?
I am good. I am better than Battlehawks fans right now because, yes, they are dead set for the playoffs. But they have a lot to lose, not only this week with home field advantage, but they are not going to win. They're not going to get past round one. They're not going to get past the Brahmas if McCarron doesn't make it back. Now, if McCarron makes it back, I don't think they're in any trouble. They could beat the Brahmas. But the Brahmas look really good. That defense looks really good. Wade Phillips has them set up to go. We will talk about that a little later, but the Battlehawks fans are worried at this point in time. How are you, Alex?
I'm good. I'm still better than most fans. I'm not too worried about St. Louis, but I do agree with what you said. A.J. McCarron is needed if this team's going to have a shot at making it to the championship game. Last week, they kind of struggled. I'm just perplexed of why the Stallions just went so easy and kind of squandered away the chance for an undefeated season. I get that, you've clinched the playoffs like in week 6 or something. But once you're 8-0 and you got 2 more games to go, might as well pull through, right? But somehow they just showed up and played at 50% the whole game and just didn't really take it seriously. I don't know why they would do that. I'm sure this week they'll try a little bit harder to beat the Panthers because they're going to play the Panthers again next week, and they want to do so in Birmingham with that success of having beaten that team twice already in the regular season. So I'm confident we're going to see the good Stallions again this week. But since our internal prediction game here, Smokey, is already pretty much over, not technically over, but pretty much, I'm ahead 6 points, if that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm ahead 6 points for the season, and we have 7 total games left. So it's quite likely that nothing crazy happens here. If we agree on at least 2 games, it would be over. So as we spoke about last week, we're going to do something for the first time and something completely random. I think this could be fun because none of these games really matter anyway. I have. For each matchup, I have the name of the team written down on pieces of paper here, and I can show them, right? What we're going to do is we are at random going to draw the teams that we have to pick. And then you better come up with a good justification of why that is. I think it should be a fun one. So let's try it out. I have the first matchup here. And Smokey, there are 2 pieces of paper here, right? We have left and we have right. Okay, I just need you to tell me which one you want.
I'll take left.
You take left. Okay, so this is Smokey's pick. And I'm opening it up. And you are going to have to pick the Michigan Panthers at Birmingham this week. Good job. Well, that means I get to pick the Stallions, by the way. It always goes in reverse. So you can tell me, why are you picking the Michigan Panthers?
Man, I am picking the Michigan Panthers because Bryce Perkins is just that good. Yeah, sure, we saw Danny Etling go out there. Bryce Perkins is 3 times the quarterback that Danny Etling is. I don't care if E.J. Perry comes back in this game. We saw that the Stallions are not invincible. That run game got completely shut down. And the Panthers, Mike Nolan has this team, the defense, looking pretty good. It's not as good as it was early in the season, of course, but this is a top half of the league defense. If he can just mimic that game plan that Wade Phillips put together last week, then he can shut down that run game again. Ricky Person had -1 yard, and he has been at least top 3 running back all season, and he got completely shut down by that Wade Phillips defense. And if Mike Nolan can kind of mimic the game plan that they had, you get Sayosi Mariner out there catching passes, Trey Quinn, Samson Nakua, Cole Hicatini. This team can absolutely put one on the Stallions, even though it is in Birmingham. But like I said, the Stallions are not invincible at this point. Maybe a couple of interceptions from Adrian Martinez. We can see Mike Nolan and the Panthers take this one. So I will be taking the Panthers on the road.
That was a surprisingly very good argumentation there. You reacted on the fly. That was pretty good. Well, I'm taking the Stallions. I get the luxury of taking my favorite team once again, the Birmingham Stallions, who are still the best team in the UFL and who are, as opposed to last week, not going to take this game lightly anymore because they're going to want to win and walk into next week's game, which is also going to be against Michigan, with a positive attitude, knowing that they just came off beating them, preferably by a lot. I think Adrian Martinez is going to have a good game. They still have along with St. Louis, the best pass catching core in the league. We know they can run the ball, and the Brahmas are arguably the strongest opponent they faced all year, if not St. Louis. So it's more than excusable to drop a game if you needed to. I personally would have preferred for them to play for real and try to really go for that undefeated season. But it doesn't change anything at all about the fact that the Stallions are the best team in the league. They're still the favorites to win it all, and they are going to beat Michigan this week, and they're going to beat Michigan next week for three-peat and for a three-peat in beating Michigan and a three-peat of going to the UFL championship. Look at that. That's an accomplishment there. So I'll take the Stallions here. Next game up. Once again, there are two notes here. Okay, you gotta tell me if you want left or right.
I'll take the right this time.
Take the right one. Okay, so we have for you to pick the St. Louis Battlehawks over the Brahmas. Okay, I think this one's fine. That one was not too harsh. I think it could have probably gone either way there. Why do you take the Battlehawks?
Well, I was actually hoping for the Brahmas, but here's why the Battlehawks will win. Because Jacob Sailors is one of the best wide receivers in the league. Now, we just had a bad week last week, right? Manny Wilkins can put it back together. He is a real good quarterback on the ground, not so hot through the air. All we have to do is stop those interceptions, and that pick six is the reason they lost the game against the Renegades there. You could say they fell apart, but man, they still have it, right? They still have it. They're not losing it. Maybe AJ McCarron comes back, and then we got it. I'm really afraid Chase Garbers being back, though. Chase Garbers and Anthony McFarland is probably one of the best. But I need to make the defense of the Battlehawks here. Jake Sutherland, one of my new favorite tight ends of this league, is going to catch 2 touchdowns in this game. They are in St. Louis. The fans are going to be behind the Battlehawks, and I will be taking the Battlehawks at home.
I'm taking the Brahmas because I have to, and also for the following reason. I'm trying to put myself into the mind of Anthony Becht here, right? And you're playing these Brahmas 2 consecutive weeks now, back to back, right? Mm-hmm. This is not the one that matters. So if you can bring AJ McCarron back for one of those games, you want him in the second one. Mm-hmm. I think if McCarron is not 100%, even if he's 90%, he's going to stay out of this game because you need McCarron at 100% next week. Next week is where you make the money, right? Next week is the XFL Championship, and that's where you have to beat San Antonio with Chase Garbers, who started the season off strong, was replaced by Quinn Dormady, also strong. That's a good quarterback room in San Antonio. You know they're going to field someone who's capable next week and this week. So you need McCarron, who's your MVP candidate. You need him in the playoffs. So I'm going to say we play the super, super careful card to the dismay of 40,000 people in St. Louis who really want to see them win this game. You're not going to have home field advantage in the playoffs, but what matters more is that you win. I think you have a better chance of winning with McCarron in San Antonio than without McCarron in St. Louis. Even though they have the best home field advantage in the league, that quarterback difference it's probably the starkest quarterback difference between number 1 and number 2 of any team in the league, aside from the Renegades, who we haven't seen, play a backup at all. St. Louis needs McCarron. They're going to be super careful here, keep him out if possible or if necessary. They are playing the long game. They're preparing for the game 2 weeks ahead. This is a scouting game for the Battlehawks. Pure scouting game. They know they're the better roster. Just have to put it together when it matters, and that's next week. So this week they are going to test the waters, and that allows the Brahmas to walk away with it and get it done. I don't know. It feels like a weird way to argue. I would have preferred to pick the Battlehawks in that one. Yeah. I would have loved to switch with you there.
Hey, I missed out on my best argument, though. Cody Latimer. Cody Latimer, their best offensive weapon for the Brahmas is out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been the Battlehawks argument.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I'll bring that up next week when it's playoff time.
All right.
Let's move on to the much less interesting Sunday session of this week. And once again, we have two notes, left or right?
I'll take the right again.
Right one. Okay, that's this one. And that means you're going to... Oh, congrats. You get to pick your Arlington Renegades at DC this weekend.
I was starting to wonder if all the right cards were home teams and all the left cards were away teams. But, hey...
Nah, it's mixed.
Yeah.
It's all mixed.
All right. I'll take the Renegades here. Absolutely. Because Luis Perez might just be the best quarterback in this league.
Oh, right.
Even though Bob Stoops cannot put together a defense to save his life. But, hey, you just beat... probably the second best team in the entire league. You got the momentum. The defenders are coming off of a win also, and Jordan Teamu was on fire last week. So that is kind of scary. Alex Ellis, another one of my new favorite tight ends in this league. He got another TD last week. But Sal Cannella is absolutely better than Alex Ellis. Hate to say it, Alex, but Sal Cannella is third best tight end in this league. Well, second best now that Cody Latimer is out. So we got that going for us.
No Sternberger recognition at all.
I would put him at number 4. Come on, Cody Latimer number 1.
I put Sternberger at 2. I'd do it.
Okay, I'll give you that, and then Sal Cannella at number 3, and Alex Ellis at number 4. I'll give you that. But either way, the Renegades are going to win this one because Luis Perez has nothing to play for, and that's when he plays his best. Maybe we can get the defense fired up once again. I'm not completely confident about that, but hey, you never know. Davion Smith will do something on the ground, and Tyler Vaughns is going to catch a couple touchdowns along with Sal Cannella. And the defenders' defense is trash. We can do this. Renegades on the road.
See, okay, the Renegades have already done one very important thing. They have guaranteed that they will not come away with the worst record for the year in the entire league. They are not going to be remembered as a team who went from XFL champion to the worst team in the post-merger year. So that's congratulations on that, even if it happened on the backs of the Battlehawks. I guess your quarterback just made the difference. Like one more game over both Houston and Memphis. Luis Perez was the difference, and he was the difference against St. Louis, no doubt. I mean, that might have been the best game that he's played all year, especially given the opposition. Of course, still the team isn't competitive. I'm gonna pick the Defenders because the Defenders started the year as the most mediocre team, and it's only right for them to finish 5-5. Also, I don't want the Renegades to go 3-7 because that record would almost make them look too good, because remember they're like 0-5 and they were definitively the worst team. I don't want them to look too good here. People might get the idea of putting them like over the Defenders at the final power rankings, and that's something we can't have happen. But this is a rematch, a grudge match maybe, just for the heck of it, of last year's XFL championship, which the Renegades won. And none of these teams has anything to play for, but you know what? I think there's a lot of players on the Defenders roster and coaches that remember that when they were huge favorites and got knocked off by Luis Perez. I think they're going to want to stick it to him. Just hand that back, even if it doesn't matter. Win's a win, and it's going to be a little bit meaningful for DC, so they're going to go in with a little more motivation, and they're going to get it done at home in front of the Beer Snake, close out the season to the joy and happiness of the DC fan base. So Defenders, because they have more to play for, they'll be more motivated. They are going to win the game. And finally, the worst game of the season is also the last game of the season. Houston and Memphis. We have 2 more pieces of paper here. Pick your poison in a literal sense, Boogie. Who do you want?
Neither. I'll pass on this game.
Well, after it. You gotta pick one.
I'll take the left.
Left one. Okay, here we go. You are going to defend the indefensible Houston Roughnecks. That is your team.
Slightly better than the Showboats. I do think the Roughnecks win this game. Let me look over this. Mark Thompson is probably the reason they win this game. That's about the only bright spot, and he has not been great since he came back this season. This is not the Mark Thompson of last season, but he's still Mark Thompson, right? He can get it going against the Showboats, who has a horrible defense and no offense, especially with Josh Love out there. What is the bright spot on the Showboats here? Vinny Papale, maybe. Say Surratt, nah. I'd say Vinny Papale is probably the best offensive weapon on the Showboats. And it's just not enough. The Roughnecks do have a decent defense, which is weird that they have not much of an offense because Curtis Johnson is an offensive coach, but can't put together an offense outside of Mark Thompson and Kiki Chisholm, who is going to get this done. They can't use the tight end, which really makes me mad. 0 catches on 2 targets for Braden Bowman. That really bothers me. But other than that, we're going to win on the ground with this one and defense against the Showboats. I'm taking the Roughnecks on the road.
And I need to come up with an argument for why I'm picking the Boats. which is just a really, really hard task. Can't even say Case Cook is... There's nothing in terms of football I can make an argument here for, but I'm gonna give you 2 main things. Number 1, the Roughnecks are terrible. It is not that hard to beat Houston, so that is one thing I'm going to hold in my favor. And I'm just gonna say, you know what? It's probably hard to play these guys on their home turf on Sunday. I think the Roughnecks offense is going to come out on the field, and they just like the combined volume of all of Tennessee singing their gospel choirs on a Sunday afternoon is going to just blind the quarterback. He can't hear an audible. The coaches can't communicate. The Roughnecks offense just gets shut down because you just can't communicate. 3 interceptions and the game's over by halftime. It's going to be 16-0, and then nothing happens in the second half. Probably. Here's another bold prediction while we're at it. The stadium is going to be empty before the game ends. Yes. I think about around halftime, like most fans are going to treat it as if it was the end of the game, if they're showing up at all. I think this may well be the least attended game of the season as well. That's why the Boats win. That right there is why the Boats win. Also because before the season I thought they would be better. No one's in the crowd, but everyone's at church, and they're singing so loud that somehow in the stadium it reverberates, and the Roughnecks can't hear. I don't know, man. These are both terrible. Before the season, I had the Roughnecks as the worst team in the league. Before week 1, I had them as the worst, and the Boats, I think 5 or 6. I didn't have them that low. With a Case Cookus, Darius Victor, I thought there might be a little bit of a possibility. Of course, Cookus got hurt. Darius Victor didn't have his best season. All of that kind of contributed to that downfall as well, plus being in this division.
Oh, yeah.
But, this is for the honor of being the not worst team in the league in the first UFL season. And you want to, just like how you want to really win the inaugural championship, you really don't want to be the worst team in year 1, I guess. So ultimate tank bowl, Showboats get it done, home field advantage. That's all I have to say. Nothing good can come out of this game. I am not going to watch this. So it'll be terrible. So we obviously disagree on all 4 games.
The Showboats. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely we do. But there's a good chance the Showboats don't make it into next season. They have no fans. Yes, they have no fans.
Why not? I don't understand why not. They were an original USFL team.
Yeah, absolutely.
How can they have less fans?
I don't know. I mean, I guess they gave up on them last year. I don't know. I mean... What else do you have in Memphis? Yeah, you have 2 other teams in college football that are pretty big in Tennessee, but not in Memphis. The Grizzlies.
You got NBA team, I guess. That's
Yeah. I don't know. Like, what else is there? If you're a football fan in Memphis, you might as well be supporting the Showboats, right? But for some reason, they're not.
Nothing better to do, right? It's weird. I expected this team. I expected the original USFL teams to have like a decent advantage starting into this whole spring league project, and some of them do, like the Stallions. But then the Boats. I mean, they were good too. They had Reggie White. I mean, they were a good team.
Yeah, they were decent. But I don't know. It all fell apart this year. But bring back the Maulers.
Bring back the Maulers.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what did happen to the Maulers, right? They were bad for 2 years. And last year they actually weren't that bad. They made the championship game, but they were bad for a season and a half, right? Changed colors and everything to look more like the Steelers. It didn't work. It didn't keep them in. I feel like if anything, the league will expand, though, right? Probably not going to cut more teams.
Please. I heard some news that they haven't... The news was basically no news, that they have not decided if they're going to expand or not expand at this point in time.
I'm in favor
they were
of
talking
expanding.
about it. Oh, absolutely. At least 12 teams, right? Get the New Jersey Generals back out here. Bring back Seattle, the Sea Dragons. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Probably
bring back Seattle, but call them the Pilots, like the old baseball team.
Yeah.
I feel like all the new teams should forcibly be old USFL teams. This is make it so much cooler. The Roughnecks have to be the Gamblers again, and then we need like the Generals, like you said. Yeah. Maybe if you want the West Coast teams, you got like the Invaders or something. Maybe put a team in Chicago. I think they were called the Blitz back in the day. Yeah.
I'm still in.
The Maulers works. They were in there.
I'm still in favor of bringing back some of the original XFL teams, like the Rage and the Hitman. And
I don't think you can get away with that anymore.
Probably not.
That's not happening. They're not going to allow that. But the old USFL teams, I mean, they still own all of those trademarks. Might as well go with it, right? It was no problem bringing them back last year. I have no idea why they picked the Roughnecks over the Gamblers, for instance.
Yep, no idea.
Keep expanding. Would you like to see the Vipers back?
Oh, no, I was just about to say absolutely not. Unless maybe we get them out of Vegas. Well, they have a stadium in Vegas now. Maybe they could play there. Get some fans in there. Get them on a real football field. And give them a real coach. Maybe. I mean, that was my team of choice until they played about 3 games last season, and I was like, this is not a real football team. That was like a high school team. They were playing on a high school football field. That was absolutely the worst spring team of all time.
You got to go into football cities, though, right? Like, this is why the Battlehawks just work, because St. Louis is a football town, and they used to have a professional team for a long time. No, they don't. I feel like the Vipers, if you look at Vegas or for also LA, if you bring back the LA Express from the original USFL, it's not going to work because those towns are too saturated with things other than football.
Yeah.
So you want Oakland, you want the Invaders, you want the New Jersey Generals, Pittsburgh Maulers. Those are the teams you want back because you have millions there who want to see professional football, who lost professional football from their town, and they want exactly that back. So that's where I'd go if I was this league.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking though? Maybe we can get some AAF teams in here, bring back the Atlanta Legends, and that will be my team.
Yeah, San Diego Fleet. I'll be my third favorite team.
Oh yeah,
man, I remember that. I remember that league.
I wonder who owns those AAF trademarks. Have they all just?
I have no idea.
Went down the toilet, I guess.
I assume they just sold everything and just all dissolved. I don't know. Can't be much of a plan of coming back. I don't imagine.
Oh yeah, I doubt that. Not with the corruption that was going on with that ordeal.
Yeah. Plus, the UFL's doing good, so this is something you can build on for the future.
Absolutely.
Right. Either expand or keep it that way, improve the player pool, get through a full draft cycle without having to reshuffle the teams and the divisions, and get some stability in. A lot more college players will be interested.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. And maybe a few more former players that are not in the NFL will take
Yeah,
note because, like Jay Sternberger was saying at the beginning of the season, he was reaching out to Texas A&M players that are not in the league right now, and a lot of them were turning him down because maybe they're looking for stability, maybe they're looking for more money, but we're not going to get those players that are looking for more money until you guys
yeah,
start showing up to showboats games and games, outside of the Battle Hogs and the Stallions.
exactly.
All these other cities need to start putting fans in the seats.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's really the thing. You're not competitor to the NFL. You are a competitor to college football, maybe, but definitely Canada. I think that's really where the UFL can position themselves.
Mm-hmm.
If they can be the more attractive version to that second rank of players over the CFL, you might see players like, think about someone like, okay, not to like speak bad or doom speak about someone. Think about someone like Zach Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
He may not be in the NFL if things go bad in a year or two.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine him in the UFL? That would be a top name. That would be a spectacle.
Oh yeah.
If to players like that, this becomes the more attractive alternative. Trey Lance, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that becomes the more attractive alternative over like going to Canada,
Yeah.
that's where the future goes. That's where the future is of the UFL, because there's a lot of good players, known players in the NFL, just don't make the cut because the NFL is so saturated and the level is so incredibly high.
Yeah.
You can have an almost full NFL worthy roster in this sort of league.
Yeah.
The Stallions almost have that, or
Yeah, they do.
have had that.
They do.
Yeah. That's possible.
Yeah.
I can see this league in 2-3 years, with every team being having the quality roster that the Stallions have now.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a great product. I mean, we can watch every game. It'll be amazing.
Lots of former stars in college football can come play for their hometown. Like Felipe Franks. Let's get him back in here. Josh Rosen. Put him out on the West Coast somewhere.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. He could play for the LA Express.
I know Michigan tried that with Shea Patterson last season,
Yes.
which was a failure. But
Well, because he didn't play well,
Yeah.
but they tried it, right?
yeah, and I think that's what
It's
they
a good
needed.
idea.
Yeah, and
That is definitely
Michigan has a fan base. Yeah, it's not the biggest, but they have a decent fan base, and
Yeah.
it all kicked off with putting Shea Patterson out there. So, Cade McNamara, let's throw him out there, see what happens. Although Bryce Perkins is absolutely a star in my opinion, so it's not like the Panthers need a quarterback at this time. I think they have 3 capable quarterbacks, but more situations like that. Yeah. Let's
Definitely.
get
I'd love to see it.
Let's get the Atlanta Legends playing, in this league.
Yeah.
And
Jake Fromm.
yeah, Jake Fromm, or Stetson Bennett, throw him out there.
Oh, well, Stetson Bennett's an NFL quarterback.
Well, technically, I mean, he's under contract somewhat. He's never stepped foot in a game or probably in a practice. I guess he did show up for spring training last year before he got sent home.
I guess Jake Fromm is also somewhere on a practice squad.
Yeah, I think he is. What was he? I think the Giants last. No, he ended up bouncing away from the Giants somewhere.
Giants is the last thing I remember him.
That was
he with Washington?
Yeah, I want to say it was Washington.
He's a free agent now. Yeah, he was with Washington the last 2 years, and now he's a free agent. But he was only ever a backup for all of them.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, perfect league for him. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, Aaron Murray played in the XFL, so why not?
Can't disagree.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know what you think about this. Maybe some ideas for the future. For now, we're still focused on the present because the playoffs are coming up. Next week, we're going to have exciting games. Can't wait. And then the championship, obviously, coming up. So let us know your predictions for this week if it's at all interesting. More interesting, though, playoff bracket. What do you think's going to happen? Let us know your opinions in the comments. Drop us a like. Smokey, do you have anything to add for this week?
Yeah, one more thing. I do not have the Stallions at number 1 in my power rankings anymore.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Okay, you know what? We're running out of time to go into that. That is That is intentionally provocative and ridiculous comment, and we will deal with that next week.
Yes, we will.
And then for the rest of the year. Okay, I got you. Thank you for announcing that.
Yes.
Thank you for watching, everybody. We will see you in the next one.
Deuces.
Listen now, we the talk around town. Alex threw the ball to Smokey for a touchdown. Ha. It's 4th down and you don't really want no more. We've been winning from the door. You should check the scoreboard. Ha. Check the